navigate the space here and recalibrate the pressure and create a sacred space for us to talk. Thank you for gathering. Aho mitakuye oyasen. Aho mitakai. Help me. Thank you, Heather, for helping me and telling me the way that you had learned Lakota was Aho mitakuye. When I had sat in the Lakota Nipi, I was taught Aho mataki oyasen. However, I imagine it's somewhat like tomato, kind of like whistling. Some of my whistles are so silent and they have no noise escape them, yet the musical instrument and the intention is there in the heart, and only so much can be expressed that only so little can hear. You could say, yes, those in the vicinity. It's kind of like if a tree falls in the woods. I feel like I'm channeling Vervaeke energy for a moment. Let me get some white noise. I'm sorry if you can't hear me. I'm really self-journaling my thoughts. Remember, this is my video journal, my personal YouTube, my place of inhabitants that I created to allow you to share space with me if you choose. And really for me to share space with myself when I choose to remember myself or reference certain dates, right? Like I can type in May 13, 2021 and change it to May 2022 is what I was going to say, just basically implying or trying to tell the story and share with you my thoughts and ideas of how I had this fantasy and idea that I could catalog and timestamp everything and read reference points and see if there were loops and times and certain times of years and things like that. I did have this belief system that I'd personally experienced where I'd always gone through these repetitious patterns. Excuse my trauma and my inability to speak properly and share my ideas. It's possible too that not everyone here is really meant to receive everything that I'm here to share. So please feel free to leave if you feel called, or feel free to just be there for me and be here, or to just continue your personal process. Please listen to your intuition. There is no I want to say there's no consequences. However, that may not be true for some of you. However, I am not really certain the energy you are permitting at this time. I have an idea and a reference point to those of you that allow me to grant access to your personal space, even if your country's away, etc. Thank you so much for those of you who have gathered with me and shared your personal energy and words and attention. It's been so fascinating, basically getting to know myself and being able to change myself and gather different parts of people that I loved and incorporating them into parts of myself that I have really worshipped and loved. Like the me that I am is just a gathering collection of all the people and things that I loved, and the way that I had learned to inhabit my own body. I had noticed that I was more of a masculine entity and a person living inside this human body that actually could probably more so identify with a male dog instead of really understanding genetics, and that some humans may have chosen to make love to animals, and when they did, their genetics did slightly mess. So when they made love with other people, this was on their skin, on their flesh. We can look in science right now and look at, if I touch you, cells and memories are transferred, and you are changed. If you want to change it back to me, that when you touch me, I am changed as a person, and literally DNA and cells and things are exchanged. The more that we touch, the more that there is exchanged and shared and gathered and accepted and received. Kind of like when people go through physical trauma and noise trauma and they're in sensory processing overload, or they haven't really fully processed that because it was just so much, literally in that moment, it took them years to process that one stimuli. Check in with your bodies and see what stimuli are living inside your body. Oh God, I apologize, dude. If I could, I would. That's all I'll say, and I'm doing my best, and I'm very limited. I know that I'm a whole lot, but I'm also under scrutiny, and there are those who do not enjoy all that I am and do not choose to see me live, do not choose to hear me. They do not choose to respect my life in the way that I choose to enjoy. They do not respect all that I enjoy, so therefore if I was a vegetable, they would not inhibit me and allow me to access those things that I really love on a subconscious level, but they don't really know because they don't know me, or all these different reference points. I like to think of someone who really loves me would possibly do these things even though I have no ability to walk or speak and say that I want to do these things. I will say one on the record right now. I love nature. Like, it is so good to lay my body flat into the dirt and just get involved in plants and not be ate up by animals if possible. However, I respect all that creepeth. You understand? And I understand the plants now in a new way that I've just learned, and I'm not certain that I've spoken this on the record, but I have just learned this yesterday. Did you know that plants speak in clicking? Kind of like light language, and Arcturians or Palladians, or excuse me if that's not true, okay? Play, please. I am attempting to incorporate play energy into the space. Will you give permission for play, please? Imagination, fantasy, imagination, scrutiny, possibly at times levels of judgment as I get to know myself and the thing that I am attempting to identify and question and come to learn what it is. Some of you may not have had children in this life. You may witness yourself having all of the children of the earth be your children, that God is in you and living through you, as your hands, as your feet. Not always just like Jesus, maybe just like your grandparents or just like your other people. Please trust your body and surrender to the innate intelligence within itself, but also notice when you are not choosing consciously to truly perform the way that you are performing, you may be unconsciously performing in a way that does not bring you great joy or great satisfaction, and therefore this will be creating disharmony, unsatisfaction, unhappiness within all beings. All beings, all living things. I'm sorry, I wish I could video and show you just really how glorious the mountain that I'm looking at is. But I'm sorry, the video camera just, no matter how expensive the video cameras, right? They just don't do it justice. I mean, maybe I'm too broke or poor and I just can't afford a real, great camera equipment or whatever, right? For underwater purposes. Or maybe I'm not cool enough to be friends with Hannah Fraser and do some really freaking badass underwater photography and videography playing with sea creatures. Maybe I can manifest my own crew that thinks that I'm cool and that will take me to dive with sharks that I used to be really afraid of when I was little and help me conquer this fear and let me touch their noses and maybe kiss their noses and do all these things that may risk my life, but honestly to me is way worth living. Just like disease, all diseases. I don't care what disease you have, I'm not gonna not touch you. Unless you say, hey, don't touch me, you know? If you need your hair washed, you need your feet washed, you need a friend, you need some help taking care of your situation, here are my hands, they will work as your hands. Here's my mind, it will work as your mind. Here are my feet, they will work as your feet. What do you need of me and how can I serve thee? Please. If you truly, sincerely believe that it is me, that it is I, please do not delegate your responsibility upon me. It is your responsibility to create income, to create resources, to create art, to create love, to create joy, to create passion, to create people. Find your place. Only you can know it and name it and choose it. You have chosen it. Please. You are always so quick to forget. You get so lost in this new earth references. You are allowing this earth to become a new earth of middle fingers and burned places and no more birds. Yes, there's all these beautiful trees, but where are the birds? Do they have to hide